I will say, for as much as this author, I'm pretty iffy on him, but I did see the best page in any manga I've ever experienced.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to another episode of Volume 1, the anime and manga podcast where we review the first volume of a brand new manga each week. My name is Josh the Xenopath Michaels, and today, as always, I am joined by
Megan Hoot Hoot Perrine.
Cody the Finger Decker.
Aw, you should have said
I was
it.
gonna,
You backed out.
I was gonna say
You
something, but yeah, I don't.
I'm glad that you
funnier.
just stuck with the finger. I think that's a really good name in general for you.
I was really oh, I could say that. Oh no, you can't. No, but
Oh, the
You can-
middle finger?
No, the finger.
Oh,
yeah,
gotcha,
yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you
In
for tuning in
context.
to another episode
I did
of
not
Volume
get
1.
that.
Before we start the
Well, I'm not
episode,
surprised he
there
doesn't
are
get that.
a few things that we would like to mention. The first thing being that we are doing a Volume 1 100th episode celebration live show, even though
Oh my
it's
God.
technically not happening on our 100th episode.
Don't even worry about that. Though.
Don't even worry about
Yeah.
that. Don't stress about it, guys. It's going to be a great
If
show.
anything, it's quirky that we're not doing it.
Yeah, it's like,
We're
quirky.
it's still going to be called maybe a 100th episode celebration live, but it's going to be a live Volume 1 episode. We are going to be talking about, what are we talking about, Megan? Why don't you tell them?
Monster Musume.
Monster Musume. I'm very excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be live, so you can be a part of it. You can talk to us during the episode, give us your thoughts on it. So start reading if you haven't already, or don't. Just, jump in there and say some wild shit. Who cares?
Yeah, stay tuned because Josh is going to read his confession live on air. That will.
Oh, yeah. He had to mention that really quick.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
going to be a thing. If you have no idea what we're talking about at all, I would definitely tune in just for that part.
Yeah, it's something
Yeah.
Josh insisted on happening, and now he's going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's my confession, and there are rules to it, so I can't say it's not my confession, but it's all things that I mean, and yeah, stay tuned
Wow,
for,
you didn't have to have
for that. So it's going to be happening. I just had to check my calendar. It's going to be happening. Future Josh here. The live show is going to be happening this Sunday, August 8th at 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. That is this Sunday, August 8th. 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, live, Volume 1. We're covering Monster Musume. You're not going to want to miss it. I should have gotten the date right in the actual episode, but here we are, and it's fine. And back to the episode. I think that's the only thing I wanted to mention. As always, we've implemented chapters so you can skip ahead to whatever part of the episode you want to hear, but I hope you want to hear it all because I'm very excited to talk about the Volume 1 that we're talking about in this episode. We are talking about Jagaan with six A's?
6 A's.
Yes.
Count them.
6 A's, count them. Every A counts. This is a series that's written by the same author of the Blue Lock manga. It is a series that we got a lot of recommendations for after our review of Blue Lock, which Cody loved, by the way.
Wait, I'm
And-
starting to see some defense for my side, though. So
I
people
literally haven't seen it.
There's at least one person.
So
Yeah.
by some you mean
Someone
what?
who plays soccer.
Big cred.
Yeah, well, maybe Volume 1, Sean, in our Oners Circle will read that comment.
Who's to say?
Who's to say? This is a series that I was really excited to read. I didn't know anything about it other than who the mangaka was. It is drawn by a different person than the artist of Blue Lock, but based on the cover alone, it is striking, it is eye-grabbing, it is intriguing. And then, after reading the synopsis, now this is how you do a synopsis. So obviously we've read Volume 1, but let me, for those of you who don't know anything about Jagaan, before I get to asking Megan and Cody what they expected going into it, let me just show you how you do a synopsis. This is the Jagaan synopsis, and you tell me what you think. So, Shintaro Jagaaaaaan, who is a neighborhood police officer, lives with his girlfriend while working a job that is killing him slowly with annoyance. It looks like he will end up marrying soon and live a boring life with a nuclear family. A grim future for a guy with dreams.
Damn.
That's the whole
some
thing.
Deep shit right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't give away anything.
No.
No, yeah, it doesn't go into. The only thing that implies that if you see the cover.
Well, yeah, if you see the cover, you know, but that's the thing. The synopsis combined with the cover, you're like, okay, well, something else has to be going on, and I have to find out what that is. But what did you guys expect going into the series? Because I don't think either of you guys were too familiar with it before, right?
No, I was just researching when we were doing Blue Lock, like, it had a different author and different mangaka. So I was like, okay, who's this guy? And I was like, reading it as I was reading, I was like, this looks very familiar. You know what it really reminded me of before I say it?
Oh,
The art
in the
Well,
art
the
style
art-
was reminding me of something, but
What is it?
blood on the tracks.
No.
It did. Some of the facial
What is
expressions reminded me of blood on the tracks, but also
The
maybe
way-
it
What
could
is
be
it?
Dan to Dan.
Nope.
No.
We've read it before.
it's
Gen-
from it's a horror one,
Junji
right?
Horror?
Ito Shiver.
No.
Or
It's
Josh, you're not giving me shit.
is it the
These are all three good ones.
Is it Miriko Chan?
No,
it's
is. I'm gonna say it. I Am a Hero.
Yes.
And because this mangaka, they had a little like side story spin-offs that they wrote off, and it was like, I am a hero in Osaka, I am a hero in Ibaraki, I'm a hero in Nagasaki, which he did the art for. It's totally reminiscent of I Am a Hero. Like, I was reading it, and just like the gore and like the aspects of the manga, I was like, oh, this is totally reminiscent, and I know why.
Yeah. I think that the art, some of the expressions, the facial expressions are so realistically drawn that I did feel like the horror in a face wasn't captured. Like, I haven't seen it captured as well since Blood on the Tracks. Like, Blood on the Tracks had a really good way of capturing like subtle horror in facial expressions. And although the art style is different, I think that is what it had in common. But speaking of other series, it is a series that is heavily inspired by Parasite, obviously, because that is mentioned in the manga. But also, did it feel a little like Gantz to you, Cody?
Yeah, I was gonna say it had the feeling of Gantz, and I didn't read much of it, but that blame.
Oh, a little bit of blame.
Blame.
Yeah, I can see where you're getting
Not
that.
yeah. But yeah, it does feel like the same energy of Gantz a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's obviously heavily inspired by, for sure, Parasite, obviously. And I do feel a little bit like it's inspired by Gantz. I did get a similar vibe, but it's completely its own thing. It's completely unique. And I really loved what this volume 1 did. And it ended also on a really great note, too.
Yeah, a very solid hook at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. Which isn't always the case. A lot of times, you know.
Sometimes it'll just, you're like, oh, all right, well, continue reading if you want to.
Yeah. I took a lot of notes for this episode because I was very excited to talk about it. There are a lot of heavy themes here. There are there's a lot of symbolism that I feel like was on display here. But let's just, I guess, start talking about it. It opens, like the synopsis suggests, with a guy, our, main hero, if you will. Not really a hero, kind of an anti-hero.
I wouldn't
even say
I would
hero
not
at all.
say
Kind of a villain.
No, he's I don't know
of a-
what he is.
yeah.
He's a little messed up.
He's the
in head,
protagonist.
He's the
He's definitely the protagonist.
He's the MC.
He's the MC. Shintaro Jagaaaaaan, and he has a boring job, I guess, as a cop, which sounds like an exciting job, but he's not like a cop. He's like a
Neighborhood cop.
neighborhood cop, which I would imagine is just like a way chiller cop job. Like, you're not dealing with, like, you're not doing drug busts or murders.
This was one of those things where they're like, they're like, well, look at his life was like. I'm like, that seems pretty solid. I don't even mean
Well,
that
yeah.
in like I mean that in he's just like, oh yeah, I've got my girlfriend. She's just like super hot, and, like,
Yeah.
supportive, and
I
like
know.
does everything for him.
I
I'm like,
know.
oh no,
She was so
how's he?
hot.
And
I
they
know.
don't like go into saying like what else he would do.
Mhm.
So I didn't get when they're like, "Ugh, I guess I'll just have to get married to him. Like, oh, you poor guy.
You poor son of a
It was just
Yeah.
a super. I was like, I made you food. I'm like, yeah, what a loser.
Yeah, she did look like a supermodel.
Yeah.
And
I didn't
He's-
see any downsides to this guy's life
I don't
besides it was
know.
like he had to deal with like teens.
yeah, I didn't know what he really wanted. I mean, I guess, like, to me, when you're working at like a dead end job as someone who's had like a lot of like server jobs, service industry jobs, like, that's a job that'll drive you crazy. But I feel like working as a police officer is some people's dream.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I just think no one like ever respects him except for his girlfriend. She
Yeah.
respects him a lot, and like everyone
Yeah.
else are just like, you suck, and it's just like, okay.
The other
Like,
thing is no one takes him seriously.
no,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But-
he's like smiling all the time and stuff. Yeah. It's just the thing that I've seen a couple times where it's like, look at this loser. I'm like, yeah, I would have.
Well,
Imagine just
yeah.
having someone in your life.
wanted to introduce you to their parents.
What an absolute loser.
I mean, he's in his own prison. You know, he's in his own prison.
He's got coworkers and stuff. And
you know, and I don't know what he wants to do other than that, but he definitely doesn't want to be living this life. I mean, if you look back to the synopsis, a boring life with a nuclear family. It just sounds like I don't know what he wants
Where's
to do.
Where's the nuclear family?
Well, I mean, he's gonna get married and have kids and
just be basic for the rest of his life.
Just be a retired cop with like a wife and kids.
Benefits.
And benefits, and you're set. Like what an absolute waste of a life.
You know, the more we talk about it, I'm
no,
like,
literally, like that's totally what I got. I was like, bro, it's not that bad.
Yeah,
you're just people don't respect you, but you have someone who like does, but you continuously be like, oh, I'm busy with work. Oh, I gotta use this. Like, bro, just look at the upside.
You know, and maybe it plays into like, you know, you always wanting more. Like you're never happy with what you have.
And that is sort of the thing I think the story was leaning towards is like, oh, maybe now he understands
not to take what he had for granted.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that he's looking at other people and maybe envious. He's envious of their life. Even though he has a pretty sweet setup.
He has a solid job that's going to set him up for life. And they retire pretty early. And he's just like with a supermodel. Like, when are we going to get married?
Yeah, not even working in the dangerous cop division.
No,
where his life is on the
patrolling streets and be like, can you guys move? And they're like, no. And he's like,
damn it.
But I got to go home to my supermodel wife. And she's going to make me dinner. My life is a failure.
And he's a pretty good looking guy too.
Yeah. I know.
I'm hot.
I'm hot. My wife's hot.
I can't catch a break.
Yeah.
I'm in my dead-end job where I can be promoted or retire.
Well, it reminded me of like I Am a Hero because like in the main character in that, he had a shitty girlfriend.
Yeah.
And like his life wasn't all that great. So I understand when shit happened, he was like, oh, this is meant to happen because my life was going nowhere. But this guy's life was going in a very nice direction.
Yeah.
And he just he just threw it all. Well,
I am finding with this author that I'm not really sure what direction he is going with these stories, but I would prefer, like, in the angle of it being a parody of that story, I like it a lot. If it's making fun of, like, the loser protagonist and you just have a guy who's just, like, doing great and
winning.
Like, I'm never gonna... I wish something fun would happen.
Well, something fun does happen. I do think this is a series that doesn't sometimes it maybe takes itself seriously, but not always.
Yeah.
When you start getting into certain events and how they happen and the other characters that are introduced, you're like, okay, this is fun.
I also think I don't know if they could ever adapt this to be like take place in America like they have done with Death Note, because he does like fantasize about like, you know, about shooting people.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Very dark thoughts in this man's brain.
Yeah, I mean, like we all think about that.
I mean, we all think about maybe being I fantasize about maybe being able to tell someone off, you know, just really scream in
or like strangle them.
No. No.
Not even.
No. Maybe like a punch to the face, but never a bullet to the head.
Or about literally punching someone in the real world when you have rings on your hand.
Okay, you keep bringing this up, and it's just a thing that I do when I'm excited and I just hit. I'm sorry.
That was funny. It's just a thing that I do.
I'm sorry.
And you keep bringing it up.
I'm not going to apologize because it happened like once or twice.
Yeah.
It's just
and I'll try not to do it again.
It only happens when you feel like it. Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, he has a pretty sweet setup, but it's not the life he wants. He wants a more exciting life.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't see him like doing something else, and he's like, I wish I could be doing this instead.
Yeah, it'd be one thing if he had, you know, if we were like let in on the dreams that he had, like if he wanted to be a musician or if he wanted to be something else.
Exactly.
And we might later on be, you know, we might learn more about him, but in the first volume, and we only have what we have to go off of, and you know, it seems like he's got a lot.
He's got a lot.
It's just I did start seeing hints of like that going down the route of like, oh, we're gonna actually explore this guy now.
Yeah,
but I didn't really get enough to be like, oh, but for sure they're gonna address.
Yeah, Volume 1 definitely explores, I think, these monsters, this world a little bit more than it explores him, and it kind of explores the people around him. we get a little more insight to him towards the end. But as far as why these things or what these things bring out in people, I feel like it's more telling of the people it infects than the person who's taking them out, kind of thing.
It does seem like a pretty like fun, like episodic thing of like, and now this. You're like, oh, that's a fun way of seeing that.
Yeah, and there was and we're gonna get more into it. There were 3 transformations. There were 3 moments, and we'll go through all of them. But I have my favorite. I'm interested to see which one was your favorite, because when you say episodic, they do feel a little bit like they're all kind of trying to teach you a different lesson, because the theme in this series is definitely desire, obviously.
That's what I thought they were going to do until there was one character whose thing was like, well, I don't know what that's not a bad thing. They're the victim.
I think I know who you're talking about. I think I know who you're talking about, but let's get more into it, and then we'll get there when we get there. It opens on him. He's patrolling, and he goes up to a group of kids that are just kind of drinking and singing on a corner. They've gotten complaints about them, so he goes up to them to kind of break them up, and they're like, who the fuck do you think you are?
Were they kids? They seemed
They're like teenagers, I think.
They looked...
They're kids in manga, which means they could be anywhere from 10 to 40.
They could be a part of the Tokyo Manji gang at 11 years old.
Oh, yeah, the Tokyo Manji gang, they look a little too young sometimes. I'm like, Mikey looks 9 sometimes.
Yeah, and then Draken looks like he's 25, so there's really no in between.
It could be any age.
Yeah,
really.
they could be any age.
But yeah, he tries to break them up. They don't listen to him. He has this first fantasy of like, man, I just wish I could fucking kill these people.
And
a very
literally
graphic imagination, vivid imagination, like bullets in their head.
And I think the depiction of that contrast, I like that more than I did in the life lessons.
Yeah,
manga, because at least I'm seeing like there's like it's like pretty negative.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's definitely an unhealthy guy.
Oh, yeah. He's clearly like mentally not, he has some work to do, to say the least. But yeah, he tries to break them up. They don't listen. He goes back to the station, and even his boss is like, just leave him alone, dude. Just like, they're never going to listen to you. The more you keep trying to talk to these idiots, the more of an idiot you are.
Like, why is everyone so mean to this guy?
I mean, I don't know.
Everyone's so
because he's the loser.
It's like not even like he's just like polite and like wants to do his job, and like I get the kids are being assholes because they're assholes, but it's like even the boss is just like, and you're a bigger idiot than they are, and it's like, can you just calm down?
But
you guys just calm.
I feel like it is just like everybody around him is either complacent or jaded or checked out, as far as like his boss. I mean, his girlfriend definitely is not happy where she's at, but
I feel bad for her.
But even this other character that we don't really get a lot of time with in the first volume, if it really any time at all, is this other female officer who just kind of has a couple fan servicey moments.
Yeah, I will say, for as much as this author, I'm pretty like iffy on him. But I did see the best page in any manga I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
So,
oh my God.
When we like talk about like impactful
moments.
mangas and moments, I actually, I'm like, I guess I got off on the wrong foot with this author.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
And I'll check out this artist.
What did you say? Impactful story, impactful character,
powerful story.
Sorry.
Powerful shot.
Yeah, powerful character.
Powerful character, powerful angle.
Yeah, a very powerful angle.
So powerful.
Powerful pants, too.
Powerful pants.
For taming that beast.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. These are clearly fictional pants.
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
They're definitely drawn
so this
on.
is some like sci-fi world where something can contain that. I see.
This is the twist of the series.
Sorry.
That Fabric is able to contain this.
Yeah, I'm like, so this is a spoiler. Mark that like something like that.
Something
exists.
like that happens. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of beasts in this, but one of them,
that's like that's the big villain. That like, how's he gonna overcome that? Yeah.
Good God.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But his coworker, we don't really get to know anything really about her as a character, as a person in the first volume. But he then, goes home, and his girlfriend is his horrible-looking girlfriend.
Oh, he's disgusting.
Yeah.
Girlfriend that he's stuck in this relationship where she's like, "How's your day?" And he's like, it's fine.
Yeah, I want you to meet my parents. He's like, gross.
Oh my God.
Do I really have
Shut
to?
up.
Yeah.
I want to play video games.
I mean, that'd even make more sense if
Yeah, if he was like negative towards her,
Yeah.
but he is just like, oh yeah, we'll go. Huh?
But she wants to introduce him to her parents, and what he does, another sign that he's not all there, is he is a very fake person. Whether he feels like he has to be, or if that's just how being social works, he feels always the need to wear this like very fake, disturbing smile all the time to signal to everybody else, like, I'm okay, I'm fine.
Which that part I can get behind.
Yeah, that will hit a little close to home for you.
Not close to home. It's just like, yeah,
Really?
just home.
That was
plate.
right in your living room.
Yeah, I'm like, what? Oh my God, next to my couch.
Yeah, sitting right next to you.
Where's your coworker?
Lurking over.
Where's your coworker? But yeah,
Didn't bring that
he does that. He does that, and we find out later, that's one of the reasons that they even started dating, was because she noticed that about him. I don't think he's pulling it off. I don't think he's fooling many people.
No.
But she was definitely
he's fooling no one.
Yeah, she was definitely one of the only people who was like, you don't have to do that.
Even those kids in the beginning were like, that's a fake smile.
Yeah.
So like, it is a thing where not only is he doing this, but no one believes him. So I could kind of get it if like everyone is just like, oh, there's that guy who constantly fake smiles at everything you say.
And
then maybe you wouldn't respect him because it's always fake.
Yeah, and then just
not
stares at
genuine.
you blankly. Little do you know, he's imagining putting a bullet through your head.
Yeah.
As though that's like a villainous thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay.
We'll get back to that.
Yeah, he is not mentally, he's not sound. But yeah, so that happens, and this is all I think supposed to show us just, the current state of his life before, things sort of start to go off the rails. He even at one point there's a panel that shows a close up of his gun, his holster, and he has a line of dialogue. Basically, he says, I like having this at my side because I know that if I ever want to end it, I just can. And that's the only reason I keep doing this.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah, pretty
Christ.
respectable.
You're not going to lie. I did think about you a little bit, Cody, when I read that, for no reason other than I know you appreciate great writing.
Yeah, no, that was quality writing.
Yeah. And it's around this time that things start to, we've already been introduced to his world and his beautiful girlfriend, and pretty solid job.
Is ruining his life.
Yeah. But something happens that leads him and his boss to the subway or the train station.
And this is why I'm really happy that they don't talk about this in the synopsis, because I didn't know. I thought this was just going to be about a guy who like...
Yeah. Which I got to say, like, even that synopsis, taking the cover out of it, was still pretty interesting to me. I did want to see how that was going to be explored, but then knowing that there was something else afoot because of the cover, I was even more excited. And this is where it starts to kind of go more towards that direction. They are responding to a homeless man, or not a homeless man, they're responding to a businessman.
He's drunk.
Who is drunk and sitting, in the subway, just moping about his life. And, the guy, our main character, our protagonist, cheers him up by lying to him, and doing that like socially acceptable, like, hey, you're working real hard, man.
You're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Keep doing you. And he's like, thank you so much. You're an angel.
Yeah.
And he's just all drunk and believing him. And they're like, okay, get this man home.
Yeah, they run on the train after him after he runs in, and they see a guy chewing out his employee, and this guy is chewing him out for his performance or for something that he's done at work and for just not having a better work ethic, a multitude of reasons. And, because of the synopsis, because of really not knowing where this was going to go, you want to put the mark here?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, this is like, there's not very, okay, let's do that. There's not much else to talk about then if we're marking the spoilers.
Because if not there's not really
fair.
And
That's
I think
fair.
if the author even decided to like cut this,
that's even more fair. So having said all that, then we're gonna get into some heavy spoilers after this. There will be a sound, but before there is a sound, because I do want, if there is anybody who is going to pause here and read, we could keep it brief, but are you going to encourage them to read, or are you going to tell them, hey, you don't got to rush this one? How do you guys feel?
What do you mean rush?
Well, you don't like, how do you feel about it? Are you going to tell them like, you got to go read this thing now, or
Oh yeah,
you can get around to it, or don't read it at all? How do you feel?
Cody.
This was it got more enjoyable as it went on, but I mean, it didn't really hit any like high notes for me.
I disagree. Megan, what do you think?
I would say if you like I Am a Hero, if you like Parasite, if you like any of the other manga that we mentioned, I would definitely check it out because it's a mixture of all of them in a big gumbo.
A gumbo. Megan's obsessed.
Yeah, if I could make, I would recommend you read it just so like you could get to like one like specific page, and then you can drop.
Oh, he's talking about the shot.
I could be talking
again.
about anything.
No,
you
you're
don't
talking about the shot again.
First of all, you don't know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I think we all have a pretty good idea of what you're talking about.
It could be anything.
I think,
be one
and
thing.
you would agree with that.
I probably would. I think two things. You should, if you haven't read it and you want to read it, I think you should pause this now, go read it, come back, because the real unpacking is about to unfold. But I think that you should read it, at least read volume 1, get a feel for what the story turns into, where the story goes, because like I alluded to in the beginning, there are a lot of the themes and symbolism at play here. The theme of desire is a big theme, and there are a lot of symbolic moments. So I think that you should at least check out volume 1 because it is very fun and it is very unique and it is very different. And I strongly recommend it. But now I think it's safe to say that for those of you who are sticking around, that there should be some sort of sound.
That would be so great if there was a sound.
It's spoiler time.
Fantastic.
That was
Thank
all
you.
right.
That's why Megan gets the big bucks.
That's a
Thank
home
you.
run, first swing. Let's go.
Let's unpack this shit.
Yeah, I was starting to be like, oh, so now the art style is going to get like sort of like expressional and like really exaggerate the expressions. And that's why I couldn't put the name on it. But yeah, I was remember like people go,
Yeah.
and then like their mouths are like getting like bit weight to like to exaggerate and like kind of like make it like to translate it for you and like how powerful they felt that emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turns out that's not what was happening.
Yeah, see, that's exactly what I was about to say before we hit the spoiler mark. Like, I thought because of the synopsis and everything, I thought that this was all happening
In his head.
In his head.
Because it starts with it being in his head, kind of like I Am a Hero.
Yeah.
Kind of like it.
And so that we can just be more blunt about it, the boss who's yelling at his employee, he's yelling, his mouth gets wider and wider, then it gets unhumanly large.
And I was still like, all right, yeah, so it's like a metaphor.
Yes.
It's a metaphor.
I kind of was right there with you.
Yes. And then
For the big mouth man.
Yeah, it took a while before I was like, oh, this is happening.
Because also a lot of the reaction shots weren't as dramatic as I expected them to be.
No. I think everyone was just like, okay, don't look over there. Mind your own business.
There were a lot of people, yeah.
And then they realized, oh no, this is something we're gonna get got.
There were a lot of people on the train who were just like, okay. Or also when they did see it, they were like, whoa.
Yeah.
But it's like, I would be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Get me off this train.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so like they can't see it.
I also thought that.
And it's like, oh, so this guy, he can see sort of the dark, twisted reality.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they live.
But I will say that him and his superior jumped into action pretty quickly, despite everybody else's pretty, calm response to it, at first at least.
Being like, okay.
Yeah, and I also knew something was up when that little hootie hoot was shown.
Oh, the cutest.
The cutest little hootie hoot in the
Yeah.
world.
The
The owl.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's just up on
The Hooters mascot. Yeah.
The Hooters mascot. There
Yeah.
you go. Very fitting. But he's up there and he's like looking. I was like, okay, what's the owl doing in
Yeah,
here?
why is-
Owls don't take the the train.
Why is he wearing goggles? Why does he have
we-
like a pilot's cap sort of thing on?
Yeah. Why is he so adorable?
Why is he so adorable?
Yeah, there's so many thoughts going through my head, but a
Yeah.
lot more thoughts going through the MC's head. 'Cause
Yeah, dude.
He is taking it all in.
He's responding. Everybody starts getting taken out. This tongue comes out of this now transformed person's mouth, which is just a series of mouths
Mhm.
on top of one another that get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. A lot of body horror.
Yeah, and this is when I started to get on board. I wasn't on board until this part happened.
Mhm.
And you're talking about the metaphors, and it's like, yeah, he's like giving everyone a tongue lashing, right?
Yes,
Because
Ah,
so he
yeah.
like how that manifests is his tongue is like that thing from the thing,
Yeah.
and is like slicing everyone up.
Because what we learn in a couple panels previous to this scene, I think, is
A bunch of frogs fell.
a bunch of frogs fell from the sky. And we do learn what these frogs are, but also it was around that mark too that frogs are synonymous, I think, with plagues.
Mhm.
With I think it's even sort of I think it's even kind of like there's a story in the Bible.
Biblical. It's
Yeah,
definitely biblical.
Where,
in Egypt, that's what happened.
an ancient
frogs,
you got
the
turned into a
locusts.
frog.
And check out my little deduction that I've made, okay? Because in the Bible, which I had to do research to prepare for,
I thought you would have.
Yeah, I thought you read it like 5,000
I was
times.
really young when I didn't. First of all, I've never read the full Bible.
Wait, did you have
And-
to look up research for the plague of the frogs?
Well, like why did that happen?
Oh, because I think it's because frogs. That would suck if frogs fell from the sky.
Yeah, and God was like, "This is gonna be real funny."
I'm
He's like, "I'm God, and welcome to Jackass." And then the frogs fell. Yeah, down.
that was the reason.
I did have to do some research, and it happened, and I had to jog my childhood church memory of the plague happening because there was a pharaoh at the time that wasn't releasing his slaves, and so this plague happened.
You didn't even remember that.
No.
Oh
Have
my!
you
I've-
ever seen The
I've-
Prince of Egypt?
VeggieTales?
VeggieTales.
I don't know
solid.
if VeggieTales covered.
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
they
movie.
did. Well, no, I mean in the show they covered a lot of stuff. VeggieTales is a fantastic show.
Yeah,
Gotta
VeggieTales
be.
was good.
They have an agenda. Gotta be VeggieTales. They have an agenda for sure. But Larry
be
the
honest, there was
cucumber, Bob the
yeah.
tomato.
Oh,
like 2
Larry's
seconds
the
of panic
best.
in my head when you guys didn't get it. I'm like,
No,
yeah,
I got
damn.
it. I got it, dude.
Um,
VeggieTale kids.
But I
Yeah.
mean, I think
I
I've
would
blocked a lot of that out of my mind.
Oh, I understand why.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you're like, I had to reason, like, shouldn't you be well versed in?
Yeah. I've developed quite the aversion. As a matter of fact. Yeah. So it was to free the slaves. So here's what I'm thinking is the symbolism behind the frogs falling from the sky in this story is to free our main character from his shackles, the shackles of what he considers to be a very boring life.
And other people in society,
Is
because
that
we live in one.
we do live in one.
Don't forget that. That's
very good.
very good point.
Yeah.
We live in a society where we're slaves to all sorts of things: love, business, work
Cody,
ethic.
some of those things, but not all of those things.
Do
Not
you
the
think
first one.
We're a
You're a
slave-
slave to love, Josh.
Never said I was. But I am a slave to desire. And I think we all are slaves to desire, And I think that's what this is. And what I liked about it is because desire can be, I think, there are certain situations in this volume that flip desire on its head. Like there are some things that you would think would be healthy that are shown or presented to be unhealthy. Specifically with like the last two.
When it got to that point, that's when I was like, oh, it's mostly about how, like, it's a curse. This isn't like a pure, like, it's bringing out the evil. It is like, oh, like bad things can just happen to anyone too. That's where it's like the symbolism kind of lost me, where it's like, well, that's not a bad thing for them at all.
But I do have some interesting points that I'd like to make when we get there because I'm curious to see if we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, the frogs fall from the sky. The transformation happens. His superior, or the main character's superior, gets taken out, and our main character is put in a situation where he is sure he's going to die. His fingers get cut off. The gun that he's holding flies out of his hand. He's backed into a corner, and almost in a last stitch, oh, fuck it, why not moment, he holds his 2 nubs up to the beast and just fires an imaginary gun, but something shoots out of it. An energy shoots out of it and destroys this beast. And then he looks at his hand and it's sort of mutated. And we don't know why at this point, because he is not fully mutated like the person we just saw on the train is.
No, he gets one arm mutated, which
huge fan of.
For whatever reason, one arm being changed is the coolest thing in the world.
So awesome.
So cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hellboy.
Yeah. Everyone.
Everybody. Yeah.
Guts.
Winter Soldier.
Yeah. There's a lot of them.
The Symbiote Squad that they explore in the Venom comic book storyline.
Okay. You got it in.
You got it in. Good for you.
But yeah, I really would like to see an essay about why.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone disagrees that one arm being replaced and being supered is the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah, it really works for me every time. I'm a sucker for it.
I'll never get tired of it.
Me neither, I don't think. But yeah, he blows him away. And then in the aftermath of all the corpses and blood and guts, the owl starts talking to him and basically gives him a lot of exposition that I was there for, because I was getting it through the beak of a real cutie pie. I was trying to say like cutie bird, like Tweety Bird, but I was like, that's not good.
Who?
Tweety Bird.
I was waiting for it.
No, who?
Oh God, this is the witch hat thing all over again.
Witch hat.
This hat. But yeah, cute bird. The bird also has a very cute nickname, Doku, the owl.
When this character came in, I was like, all right.
Okay, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's quirky. I'm up for it.
And no, I mean, it is starting to have some fun.
Then like seeing like the explanation, which is like the frogs are in people and they bring it out, and the owl, like he like eats the frogs.
Yeah.
Like, okay. All right.
But it's
that's
also,
like a pretty like a clear way to like deal with these issues, and like that's a fun way of like seeing all this happen.
The reason I liked this exposition too is because it's coming from this cute owl. The frogs are very real frogs. They're called, the owl calls them xenopaths, but they just look like regular ass frogs. They don't look like aliens. And as soon as they start to come out of whoever they're inhabiting, he's in the middle of exposition. He's like, these are xenopaths, and they create, what are they called? Fractured humans, and they feed on humans' desires. Then he's like, hey, get over here, you little shit. Get in, you little fucker. Oh, you decided to come out, huh? Like,
I love how the owl cusses.
Yeah, he's just vulgar and immediately. Yeah.
The owl alone brings up this entire series.
Yeah.
It is such a cool, he brings more of a shift to the setting than the guy turning into a monster did for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just laying it all out there, giving his best. He's like, and you're going to help me get these little froggies, blah, blah. And then he just fucking shoots the shit.
And I in the moment, I was like, oh, we're doing this?
I was like, oh my God, is that? I kind of respected it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, that's hilarious.
Yeah, of like, this kind of like it felt like making fun of the whole, like, I'm the guy who's going to explain
Hero's
everything.
journey.
I'm your fun sidekick, here we go.
Yeah,
and then he just like shoots him.
And I bought it 100%.
Yes.
I totally bought it.
And that was like, all of that is the first chapter. And like, that was a very solid first chapter.
Very solid. And like I said, I like to think that a lot of times I can see something coming from a mile away. Not always, but I feel like I can most of the time. And with this, I was like, that owl ain't coming back.
Yeah.
That owl is gone.
I was like, no, why?
But, because that is just kind of just what it feels like this story is.
It's like a great, like, if this gets an anime, or if it already has one, I have no idea.
Well, I mean, it's been out for a while, so the chances of it getting an anime are probably very low.
Or high as time goes on.
Maybe. Yeah. And I think it is still ongoing, too. I was trying to find out definitively. There are 134 chapters.
That is such a great ending for the first episode.
Yeah, dude.
And you just get that, and then whatever, ending song they have, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
He shot the owl.
I mean, I was really hooked by the first chapter. I thought it was very well done. And after that, it really picks up and it shifts gears and it becomes something completely different. And he is sort of spiraling. And he is like, is this real? Like, what is happening?
Yeah, at this point, I don't think he even doubts that he's actually having like a mental breakdown at this point. Like, he's probably like, oh, that probably didn't happen, and I'm just going fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like, it makes sense. I'm think about shooting people, so
yeah,
not too far fetched. Going hootie hoo.
Going hootie hoo.
Yeah.
Who?
No,
Okay,
I
so
messed-
don't shit on my Tweety Bird thing.
I didn't.
You were like, huh?
No, to
Tweety
her.
Bird.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
This is your little imaginary.
Hey, Cody,
scenario.
remember that panel from the manga
Yeah.
with his coworker?
Yeah, that was great. What were we talking about?
I forgot, dude.
Dude, yeah. Who even cares?
Yeah. You want to just review that panel?
That would be great. We're almost there.
Can you pull it up?
Yeah,
for
let's
the
just
people
pull it
that
up,
have
dude.
no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah, he goes home to his girlfriend right after that, and
Yeah.
and you know, he's a little shaken, and even still, she is being a great girlfriend in this
Nothing
moment too.
but supportive, which is why that I didn't get what they were going for at all with the relationship.
She's offering, she's like, you look tired, you look exhausted, like, let me make you some food. And he's like, she's like, let me make you curry udon. And he's like, man, you really like curry, huh? And she's like, I'll make you regular udon. and he's like, all right.
Okay, cool. Don't take
Yeah.
that.
Okay, well, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I'm just
actually.
reading. Yeah, I'm like, what a loser coming home to that every night. What?
Yeah.
This is hilarious.
And then he sees a frog, a xenopath, leap into her neck. And then she sits down to eat with him, and she starts slowly changing as she's sort of talking about what she's expecting from, or has been expecting from, this relationship, that she's been wanting more, that she's been wanting to take that next step, get married. But what he doesn't know is she's like, and I want to have kids, and I've been wanting to have kids, and there's no point to talk about it with you because you're always at work. Or when you come home, you're always tired.
It's
like,
so sad that it had to end like that, and they
Yeah.
couldn't have a conversation.
no.
Yeah,
I mean, who
About
knows
it.
what he would have really even said? He would have just
No,
looked at her
I
and he would have
know.
fake smiled.
that's the weird thing, because I'm like, oh, he never has to deal with that now.
I
Well,
know.
I think that what it is like, I don't know. With the fake smile thing too, I mean, that could kind of play into like why he hates his life so much. Because I feel like he's just doing what other people want him to do. So I think if he had to deal with that situation, he would have just done it. He would have just had kids and would have been miserable because he's doing it for her. He's doing everything because he's, I feel like, just trying to be normal or seem normal. I don't know.
So now that he's free from his horrid girlfriend who wants to get married and have kids,
Yeah. This is where
now
the series...
now it's about liberation.
yeah.
it was so tragic.
I
Yeah.
did like the writing wise the progression from her like talking and then it, like
Yeah.
breaking down like, oh yeah, you're so lucky being a guy, you don't have like a biological clock.
Yeah.
And like the whole time, like the flashbacks of them like first meeting, and
yep.
like I'm like, oh my god, I feel so fucking bad
Because
for her.
even in
Yeah.
the flashbacks, she was amazing.
She was so nice, and she was like, you don't have to do that fake smile. Like she already knew it, but she still was with him, and she literally this was tragic for her.
Very
tragic.
That's when I thought like, okay, is the writing going to like deal with that side of him?
Mm-hmm. I hope so, and
I
I think they probably will.
I don't know if they will, but it looked like they were going in that direction by the end of it.
Yeah, another situation, and
Because you get the
another-
flashback
Yeah.
after he, immediately shoots her. You
Yeah.
compare that to other mangas that, we won't say which one, but other mangas have gone in a similar direction. We'll say of that. And you get a little more of like hesitation. Other stories when a loved one gets like infected. And
Yeah.
you're like, no, what can I do? And I thought, oh, is he going to like figure out how to, he's just like,
Well, that's the
bam,
thing.
immediately, no second
That's a
thoughts.
great point.
He
yeah.
literally, like at this point, can do it now, and he's like, I'm not gonna hesitate, and I have like a reason to shoot you.
Kind of a
That's
little bit. I think
a
it
lot
was.
of
I
it.
think it was hard for him, but I mean, he didn't. You're right. Like, I don't think he like secretly really wanted to do it.
I mean, he
But-
imagined
I
it.
think he did.
He
secretly want
imagined
to do
it.
it.
I mean,
He imagined
'cause
oh,
it.
he
He
literally,
as
he
well.
literally imagined doing
He
it.
did
Yeah.
imagine doing it previously, but I think that's like.
That doesn't mean that he wanted.
But
to
I
do
mean,
it.
like, I feel like I'm giving him some credit. I feel like he did it, in a moment of frustration. I don't think,
Frustration.
No,
He shot her?
no. He thought about it
Oh.
previously in a moment of
but
like
why
frustration.
was he frustrated with her?
Yeah, what literally
I'm trying to defend him.
I
I don't know.
could have used a single shot of her being like, "Oh, you're going to go be a cop?
Yeah.
Your dead-end cop job?"
No, supportive the whole way up until the end.
Look, they don't call it playing devil's advocate for nothing, dude. He is a little devilish.
Well, we'll be playing God's advocate and saying that guy
Oh,
real jerk.
real bad guy. Just let her go.
yeah.
Yeah.
let her
Go to get a husband who will
Yeah.
give her all these things and love
Yeah,
her
which-
for her hotness. Like
Yes. And
Got one sitting right here.
You?
Sure. I mean, I'll be happy to.
He's playing devil's advocate again.
Yeah.
I'm playing Josh's advocate and saying you're a catch. I'm not gonna do it.
Wow.
But yeah, it is like I'm unclear on this character because it is like, oh, I'm just doing these things to fit in and do this, but then it's like, but you are like kind of, with someone who wants to get married and you're like, oh, but I don't want to do that. So he's not like, oh, let's go do it. He is like kind of like against, like that's like a thing he'll like stop from happening.
And it's like to relate it to Oyasumi Poon, like he is very much like that, like in the sense where he's like everything like will happen good. He'll just be like,
yeah,
no, but he has reasons. He's a little messed up. He is too, but we don't see that yet.
Pun had, the character dealt with a lot of trauma, but he was a lot of times I feel like he did act selfishly.
Mm-hmm.
And this character does.
Yeah,
too.
the difference is I understood why.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with this guy, I'm like,
why?
What's your deal?
I don't know if we're supposed to really be rooting for him. I mean, I don't know.
I don't. I think he's supposed to be like the thing to like explore the world, and then you're supposed to root for the owl.
Oh yeah, for
yeah.
sure. Doku-chan is my number one.
Yeah,
that guy was a hoot.
There it is.
I got it. I was thinking about it.
It was right there.
Yeah.
We were all searching for it. I'm glad we got there.
Yeah.
That was going to bother me.
Yeah.
If
And then we can end the thing with that too.
We can.
Yeah.
This manga was a hoot.
This manga was good. Yeah.
Wow.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. But yeah, so what she transforms into, and this is where the manga
Megan's
has fun
mad she didn't get to
again.
say.
Megan had one prepared. She had like 8 prepared.
Fuck it. Totally fuck it. It's fine. Not a big deal.
This is where the manga has fun again, and in her transformation, she transforms into a scorpion, and the tail of the scorpion just has a giant middle finger on it, and I
Very
thought that
fitting.
was
Which
very
good for
fitting.
her.
Good
No,
for
good
her.
for her. Good for her finally telling him how it is, but now it's too late.
And back to symbolism, it reminded me of an old tale. I don't know if you guys have heard it, but the frog or the toad, my bitch ex-wife.
Okay.
Yeah. It reminded me
of a tale. This woman turning into a she-beast reminds me.
A lot of my own experience.
One might say,
Yes,
if
yes.
I had to put a finger on it, would
Yeah.
be my ex-wife.
Yeah, just wondering when I'm going to get some royalties because it was heavily inspired by some of my own life events. But
No.
no,
She was literally perfect.
Yeah, she.
No,
she was very
I
perfect.
wish.
I do also wish.
I wish I could be like, no,
Yeah.
I don't want curry.
I mean,
I'll make you udon. Sure.
sure.
You just make whatever you want for the both of us.
And I'll just sit here while you cook
And I'll
happily,
just fucking go
while
to
you
my
put
work.
your love into all of our meals.
Yeah.
And I tasted it. It
I
tastes
mean, you guys are
delicious.
really changing my mind about this guy. you
No,
know?
he's kind of not a good guy.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
that's probably I'm sure that other characters later on introduced that we see towards the end.
Yeah.
I feel
Well-
like they're all not the best people.
But it reminds me of this tale, the scorpion and the frog.
Is this something else you had to research?
No,
Like,
no,
you remembered this one.
I remember this
Okay,
one.
all right,
I-
yeah, because it's fiction.
well, it's a folk. It's like an old.
But he didn't remember the Bible.
No,
I mean, who does? Who does?
a lot of people.
That's true.
Yeah. It's like there's a whole group of people who remember
a
the
very
Bible.
large group.
There's,
Yeah.
there's a large chunk.
I'll debate you on that and say that I bet a good chunk of them don't.
They don't remember the frog story.
Probably that one, but
Yeah.
there's probably some other stuff they don't remember. They don't remember all of it. Maybe.
Some people have it memorized.
I'm sure. Yes.
There's a
I know-
profession from that.
and that's not a
I
bad
know
thing.
one personally. Okay. I know a couple actually, probably, but
Yeah, the scorpion and the frog. Is that
Scorpion and the frog.
Is
Have you
that
guys ever heard of it?
relevant? Well, yeah.
No, I haven't.
you've heard of the tale?
Scorpion and the frog? I've
You've
heard of
ne-
rabbit and the
Tortoise and the hare.
I don't
Tortoise and
I don't
hare.
get the moral. I don't agree with the moral of the tortoise
Okay,
and the
be
hare.
fast, steady. Wins
Yeah,
the race.
it's a I guess it applies, but
If you cheat, you should cheat because the guy you're competing with is probably a dick anyway.
well, it's saying like go at your own pace is what
But
it's saying.
but it's literally a race.
But what does the scorpion and the frog have to
You don't-
do?
You know, okay, so
Okay,
real
I've
quick,
never heard
the
this start again, my
tale, and it's one of those
We
tales
have
that
the-
has a lesson. It's
Uh-huh.
basically like a very short version is there's a scorpion that's trying to cross this river and sees a frog, and he's like, "Hey man, can you help me out?" And the frog's like, "Heck no, dude, you're gonna sting me." And he's like, "No, dude, I just want to get to the other side of this lake." And he's like, all right, dude, hop on my back. He hops on his back. They start traveling across the river. And right as they're about to reach the bank, the scorpion kills him. And
the
then
frog's
the frog,
like, what the heck? Why'd you do that? Well, now we're both going to drown.
And the scorpion says, I'm a scorpion, dude.
It's in my nature.
It's in my nature. And so the moral of it is like,
helpfulness is wasted on those who betray, something like that.
Yeah. Well, actually, it is, true nature. And so I think that, with desire and these frogs, they are bringing out.
You're saying the moral is true nature?
Well, no, I mean, the moral of the toad or the frog and the scorpion is like, that's because that's the scorpion's true nature, is that's what a scorpion does. So it's to be aware of like who people are and don't expect them to be something that they're not.
Something that they're not.
Yeah.
That's why you turn into a scorpion.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it's revealing, it's bringing out these desires, this true nature.
But that would work if he turned into a scorpion.
But that's not his true nature, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but she constantly helps him, and then he constantly, like,
She's a mix of both. She's
Jesus.
a score frog.
Score frog?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know this either, but it is said in the manga, and I just wanted to see, if it held up. But yeah, I didn't even know that scorpions do represent, in some cultures, lust and sex. Nothing real is like sexy about a scorpion, I don't think.
Well,
you disagree?
What?
No.
Okay, all right.
He's a manicore guy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I know there's a type of insect that it looks like they have a scorpion stinger, but that's actually their
Oh, wow.
Yeah, their member. So,
Oh, wow.
What animal?
Now
It's
that's
a,
sexy, dude.
I believe, let me try to remember. I don't know. I think it's some sort of flying bug.
Oh.
It's like, you're like, oh, it's like a giant stinger. You're like, it's like, yeah.
Definitely going to be looking that up.
Yeah, what are you? What?
Just
why are you
research, dude. I'm curious. You're not curious to see? You're not curious to see that even a little bit?
Now, I'll tell you.
It looks like a stinger.
The reason I know about it is because of Fallout 4, the stingwing. The bug that's based off, that's not a stinger in real life.
There's also rad scorpions.
Yeah, but those are just scorpions. Yeah,
Those are very annoying.
Do they have giant penis stingers too?
No, they just
They
have
do have
big
giant
stingers.
penises, but that's separate.
That's a different mod.
Cody like that a lot. Anyway, he is, whether it's because he feels like he has to or it actually genuinely affected him afterwards, he is kind of dealing with it. Like, what did I just do? Although, now that you say it, yeah, in the moment, he was like not trying to figure out a way to
and he
get
was like
around
blaming it on her. He was like, "You pushed me first. You did this," and
a
it's
little
like, I mean, at his defense, she was a giant monster, so you had to do something.
I mean, literally, yes, but yeah, that's the thing. So, like, if you're going to the metaphor of that, it's like, well, he was the bad guy in the relationship. So that's why, like, I thought it was gonna go in that direction, but then by the end, I'm like, oh, I guess it's just like this is a supernatural event that can just happen to anyone, and depending on what
Which is very unfortunate.
Yeah, and that's where it's like, oh, this isn't going to be a pure metaphor. This is going to be like a series of metaphorical events.
Well, then why?
Unfortunate events.
Yeah, I was trying.
Well, then why doesn't he, or why does he keep her head in like a? Why does he saran wrap her head?
You think she's the scorpion in this metaphor?
I'm just saying that the moral of that story
it's in her nature to want kids.
Yes.
And it's just going to bring you down. No, I'm on board.
No,
for
yeah,
this now.
I mean to him.
So what you're saying is she as in her nature as a woman is trying to bring him down.
I don't like how you're framing it.
By having
no,
kids.
I think so. I think that's what you're saying.
I don't explain
I'm
to me how that's not what the argument for this.
I'm saying that's what the main character. That's how the main character feels.
But why would she transform based on how he sees things?
Because that's her desire. That's her true nature. No, that's her personal, not biological. It's her personal true nature. Thank you.
It is her personal truth. That's her desire is to have kids and have a family.
I see what you're trying to do, dude. You're
Some
trying to flip it on me.
Don't have that desire. Or
They don't
want to do that.
Like Megan.
And those aren't.
I just threw that on her.
Those women aren't scorpions, but any woman who wants to have kids is a scorpion. Is that the?
Oh.
Okay,
Why
Cody.
are you?
You're really trying to tear me down, dude.
Really is
You're really coming for me,
setting
dude.
you up.
You're being a scorpion right now, dude.
It's in my nature, and you know that when we started this.
You know that by when he stings you.
He does, and that's not a stinger.
When
by
you
the
guys
way.
have sleepovers.
Yeah, when we have our
Yeah, that bug is actually
sleepovers, like,
yeah.
you want to just go home? It's like, nah, we'll just spend the night.
just for a little bit, hang out.
God.
But
The narrative.
But yeah, after that, he saran wraps her head. So I mean, he's feeling something like he doesn't want to throw her head out. He's like feels weirdly guilty.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. I don't know why that's the only member of her body that he kept.
Are you suggesting that he should have kept something else?
No, I'm not suggesting that. It's just a little weird. Like,
That he didn't
I mean,
keep
her
the
No,
other
that's
things.
not what I meant, Josh.
Okay.
You guys are polluting. You guys are desires.
We
are
were
coming
just
out on
asking.
Yeah.
I don't know why he saved her head either. Maybe he just feels guilty and doesn't
Yeah.
want to deal with her actually being gone. So
Maybe,
he can
yeah.
just look in the fridge and be like, "Hey, babe, what's up?"
Hey, babe, where's
See-
that udon?
Yeah, where's that udon now? Oh, I have to cook for myself. In the meantime, though, we get little Hootie Hoo back.
Yeah, he's back. He comes
He's
back.
I did like the sub twist. I don't know, where he explains that, like, well, you're infected too,
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And
which was like, well, oh yeah, I guess I don't know why he just got that finger.
yeah,
Oh, and also trigger warning for triphobia.
triphobia.
Triphobia is the fear of small, compact holes close
Oh,
together.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
And I don't really have it, but reading some of these panels, I was like,
Not like tryptophobia. Or...
trypophobia? Is it correct? Trypophobia? I wrote it
Tryptophobia
down.
sounds more right.
Triphobia?
But I don't even really think that because I can't really remember there being a lot of like tight, compact holes. All right, that sounds out of context.
No, it is.
You know what I mean?
I know
There's
you
a
don't.
lot. Like when he's like,
Okay, save it, dude.
Yeah,
When-
you're right.
oh,
this is
triphobia. Yeah.
Tryptophobia?
No, it's TRY phobia, fear of closely packed holes. Because his arm is all like,
I can only hear it one way
gross.
now.
and it's like
Yeah.
all like holy and
Yes.
and-
yeah. That's
and
yeah.
even her too.
That's one of those things that I like, and it's like, oh, why do people? I believe in the instinctual fear theory, and I like the idea that, like, the reason that'll like trigger people is like that's usually in nature. That's when something is infected. So like people just some people would like naturally form like, oh, get away from that person.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, yeah, it does make sense that they would have, these fears sort of in their DNA or whatever. But yeah. So after that, he saran wraps her head. Then he goes to a wedding right after.
Doesn't he go to like back to work?
He goes back
first?
to work for a little bit.
Which
yeah.
is when we get the best shot in the manga.
right.
Which is why
Sorry, I
saw
tried
you
to-
trying to
He's trying to get away from
skip
that.
over.
I was trying to keep this, moving.
No.
And I knew we were going to stop and talk for a while there.
Yeah, it was this weird thing where like, okay, so like he just immediately shot her, and then he was like, all right, well, now I'm gonna go back to work, and
Yeah.
then like we get all these fan servicey shots, which fantastic
Right.
of his coworker,
Right.
and her
Mhm.
putting her pants on it like in the office.
Mhm.
Well, I think he went to her place, but also.
No, it was like a changing
Oh, it was
room.
a
Or she was
changing
like,
room in
I'm
the
almost
office.
done. And I'm like,
But
who
she
just
also
says
wasn't
that?
almost done.
No, she wasn't almost
She
done.
was
had to
just
put the
getting
whole- She
started.
was
Yeah.
started getting changed.
Yeah.
But if it whatever I'll give the author a pass for if it leads to the shot of her putting those pants on.
Right.
But what that I genuinely would like to talk about is the fact that like, okay, so he immediately shoots her.
Uh-huh.
And then we get these shots where he's like staring at like his coworker's butt and stuff, and you're like, so you feel like no guilt,
It's
because
the
he-
desire.
and then
desire.
and then it becomes like, okay, so if he like gets with his coworker now, is like, am I supposed to be like rooting for that?
No. She needs to run away from him as soon as possible.
Yeah, I don't.
He is not good
yeah.
news.
Yeah, I really didn't think of that. Got to be honest, because he was eyeing her up, and I think that after what had just happened, he should be reacting a little differently.
Yeah, he could
Yeah.
have not been looking her up, but I assume that any fan service shot is supposed to give you an idea of what the character is thinking too. You know,
Mm.
usually if they see like an
Yeah,
attractive
'cause-
girl and she does like a shot, you're like, oh, that the character's like staring a lot.
Because otherwise, it was just there.
Yeah, and it's
and it
not
was.
like
Well, I mean, it impacted you guys, so it was there for a reason.
Well,
Well-
I know it hit Cody a little harder, but
oh yeah,
I made Cody a little harder, but
there we go. I was trying to imply it.
But if it wasn't through like how he was seeing it, then
It's just incredibly out of place.
It felt extremely out of place.
Mm.
Yeah. But yeah, either way, beautiful shot, beautiful, powerful character,
Powerful
Powerful
character.
yeah,
Powerful scene.
glutes.
Powerful
scene.
glutes.
Yeah.
I guess the
Yeah.
Japanese police, they really encourage squats.
Yeah.
And I've been really interested in the physical regiments
of the neighborhood police.
Yes.
Started doing your own research, huh?
Yeah, we both do research.
I love research. We do different research though.
Yeah, both contribute. All of us can to the whole
You're
of
right.
Volume 1.
Right.
The whole of Volume 1.
To the tightly compacted holes of
Volume 1.
Jesus Christ.
And then he goes to a wedding.
He goes to a wedding.
Then he goes to a wedding, yeah.
The fact that I'm not seeing him really be like traumatized by like killing his girlfriend makes me believe that the story. I'm like, it's this weird thing. Is the story supposed to have me be like, yeah, she's dead too?
I don't think so, man, because I do. He is discombobulated.
Yeah,
but
no, definitely.
I don't want people to think that like we're saying that he's totally fine, but he is more fine than I think he should be. But he is kind of like, repeating to himself over and over, is this real? This has to be real. This can't be real, blah, 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 blah. Like he's not quite, like he isn't just frolicking around town.
Yeah, no, I mean, if no one brought her up at the wedding, he probably wouldn't have even thought about it. And then someone brought her up and he was like, oh yeah, I live with her, toast. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
She's in your fridge. She's freezing right now.
He murdered her, yeah.
He murdered, she was a monster.
Yeah, she was a real scorpion, just feeding me and asking me how my day went. Her nature.
Her nature.
But there we did the owl explains like he's infected and he has to like be fed a thing to like keep the infection down, and the owl will like give him one for every fractured human he kills.
Yeah. Yes. We didn't mention that, but yeah, it's the owl pellet containing like,
which I'm assuming is the frog he ate.
Yes.
Yeah, and then he feeds him that, and then the infection it does sort of be like, well, once he like needs it, the page before it, the infection suddenly like takes over him. But until then, he's like, it's not like a gradual.
Yeah,
thing.
and it does seem like it's triggered by things too. Like,
the more he uses the thing, the more the infection will take over.
Yeah. And I don't know if this was a moment that was just played for comedy or if it's going to matter more later. But the owl does have a moment too when he is like digesting these frogs. Where he's like laying on the couch and he's feeling lethargic and he's saying that it's because he's experiencing all their desires or whatever.
He experienced. The way I read it was he experiences the emotion that fractured human was triggered by.
Yeah.
So when he eats the frog from the businessman, he experiences like his like anger and like, what's the word when you look down on people?
Disdain.
Yeah. And then he goes to the wedding and then he meets another fella. In the bathroom. And this guy, mysterious guy, a guy who, tries to extend an olive branch and be like, yeah, we both think this is all silly, right? Like this is all dumb. And we know that he does think that.
Yeah, he literally keeps saying it in his mind like, this is stupid.
Yeah, and then wears the fakest smile and says like, no, this is great. This is beautiful. And the guy's like, you're not fooling anyone, but whatever, dude.
That it is so interesting how no one buys his acts. So it's not.
It makes it more insane that he keeps doing it. Though.
He's doing it. It's instinctual at this point.
Yeah, it's like he can't stop it.
No.
He can't not do it.
A guy he just met in the men's room was like, "You're being fake, man."
Yeah,
fake dude. Fake dude.
Yeah,
this wedding sucks.
Yeah, and you and me both know it.
Yeah, you and me. Yeah, my guy. That's why we're in here.
And
That's
then
why we're in the bathroom.
This was my favorite sort of transformation that happens because it was the most sort of like, why is this happening? And it did sort of like flip because you're thinking with the girlfriend, you're thinking like, yeah, she is right to want those things. So for them to overtake her, I do think that it is showcasing at times like what can happen when you have an unhealthy amount of desire with anything. And it's even true here because the bride gets infected by a xenopath, and the bride, they're like, they're climbing a spiral staircase. They're about to reveal themselves as this couple, and when the curtains open, she's like some sort of centaur,
bloody, horrible,
with her groom on a spike,
and it's so sad because it's like that she didn't want to do that. And she
Yeah,
killed her
that-
husband. Like, what
Yeah.
a sad moment for her. Like, who was her wedding planner? Like,
Yeah.
get that
Fire
girl
her.
fired,
Yeah.
fired, blacklisted.
Yeah, she's letting frogs just get through.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
letting the frog. Who let the frogs?
Who let
in?
the
Who
frogs
let
out?
the frogs out?
Who let the frogs out?
That's what I was.
Yeah, but you gotta like.
I'll give
sell
you.
it.
All right, you perform, and that's all.
That's
it's
all
like
it is. Yeah.
The punch ups.
That's all it is.
Yeah, you really got your inner Tootsie Roll owl out there for that one.
I did. That's my
Yeah.
inspiration.
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah. But what were you gonna say, Cody?
That's when I thought like, okay, it's gonna be like an episodic thing where it's like kind of like that, that bullshit Dragon's Dogma anime.
Oh God.
That bullshit.
It's my favorite game, and they just it's weird. It's very weird what the moral of that was. But so like I thought like, oh, it's gonna be that pride, greed. We're gonna go through all that stuff, but then like. It's just like a happy person on her like wedding reception. So then I was like, okay, so this is just like a tragedy. This isn't like that'll show you.
Yeah, I did read it as a little bit of a tragedy, but I also, I also was like, what am I missing? Like, is it just a tragedy or is there something else behind it? And so like I did, look into what the symbolism of centaurs were. And they are in some cultures, they do symbolize like that they can't be like tied down. Like you can't hitch your wagon to them.
Ah.
Why do women love centaur stories then?
I don't know.
Wonder
I guess,
why.
I do wonder why. Because they all want to roam free.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And who could blame them?
right, okay.
Yeah.
And they something about, and I'm just kind of paraphrasing, but attractive women. They represent things of beauty. And so a part of me thought, outside of a tragedy, what else could it represent or symbolize? And possibly that it wasn't about just love for her, like it was, but because what I thought was eerie about it was her in her transformation when she's like talking to one of her friends that's a guest. She's like, let me set you up with this guy. Let me set you up with this guy. Let me set you up with this guy. And it almost felt like as if her desire wasn't just for, like, she wasn't getting married for love completely. She was getting married for the show,
the production.
Yeah.
People have weddings just to have weddings. They don't like necessarily care about the person they're marrying. They're just like, let's have a party. And I can be the front and center of attention.
Yeah.
That's why if I saw her be more of like a bridezilla, and maybe if she turned into like a lizard, I'm turned into like a bridezilla.
Or a
Right.
Godzilla.
Yeah. That's like instead of a centaur.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a bridezilla. Like if I saw her be like more of like a bad person, but like again, it's like like this guy's got and like, oh, that girl's trying to set her friends up. I'm like, yeah, what a awful social life.
Well, like I think that she like just like the girlfriend, like she didn't show her desires until the very end because she didn't really talk to him about it ever. And then this girl like hides him underneath and like everyone's fake and like you don't know what everyone's thinking at all times. So when the frogs get in, it's showtime.
That's why I guess if I saw like, because we get a scene of him being told like, well, you're fake.
Mm-hmm.
And like this party is like, this sucks. But like, I guess if I got that replaced with like people talking about like, oh yeah, she's like not even like into it. Like that, it would have like come across to me more.
I get what you're saying. And it is, it does leave it more open to interpretation, I think, because there are no moments of her being anything but pleasant. But I do think that, obviously getting married and having weddings is something that people love to do. There is another large group of people that I think do view it as just this unnecessary ceremonial, just sort of transaction that is happening for financial benefit. Like it's this like old thing.
If you think that way, don't go to the wedding.
I think it's a little more complicated than that.
Nah.
Well, like if you were getting married and I didn't, which talk about fiction.
Oh my
if you were getting married and you invited me and I didn't believe in weddings, like I would still go because I'm your friend, and I'd be like,
would you then
see
shit talk some random guy in the bathroom about how much of
in the bathroom?
my wedding?
In the bathroom, it's
Not to your
private. Not to
face.
the face.
To
It's
my
private.
beautiful wife Olga.
Yeah, your beautiful wife. I'd first of all, and I'd have to see it for myself. I'd want to be there for that too.
To confirm that it's happening at all, and I'm not just lying.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm married.
yeah. But yeah, maybe I would be in the bathroom like, yeah, this was a little much. But I mean, I probably wouldn't if you were my friend. which you are. But I don't know his relationship with this other girl. It seemed like he was more friends with the groom.
And I feel like
Yeah.
if you just shot your girlfriend, maybe don't go to a wedding.
That for sure.
Yeah, don't go, but it'd be suspicious.
Which
If
is
you didn't
this is
know.
definitely a unique protagonist. I am just unclear on what direction he's like.
Well, hey, it's the first volume.
Yeah. And to be clear, so we can have our sort of final thoughts discussion. To wrap up the first volume, she goes on a rampage. He activates his arm and needs to shoot her from a distance. And so his arm sort of transforms into a sniper rifle.
Yeah.
Like a scope and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
looks
very
cool.
Very
Very
cool.
cool.
Very cool. And then he does end up defeating her, and it ends on this like final panel of this other person who is clearly also infected, but has sort of these trees growing all over him with a falcon.
With a new bird.
With a new
I
bird.
knew Cody would be like, what
But this is
other
a bird
birds
manga.
are
Now-
they going to bring out, dude?
This is a manga for bird heads.
I
Yeah.
actually did like her. It's like, oh, are they gonna be like birds, like fighting crime and stuff, like
Yeah.
fighting frogs?
yeah.
Doku-chan is so funny because he's just like giving him all this information. He's asking him like, what can I do? What's this? And then he just doesn't tell him. And he's like, you don't know shit for how much information you know. And he's like,
Yeah.
okay, shut up.
Yeah.
Like he's such a fun way to make you laugh and not
Yeah.
cry about people, having horrible things
He's
happen
the
to
puck
them.
of the story.
He's the puck of the story.
Yeah.
Little vulgar puck.
Very vulgar puck, very
Pucky.
funny puck.
Mhm.
Very, yeah. And very plucky.
Plucky.
Pluck feathers.
Yeah.
Birds. Yeah. I'm just saying stuff now.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
They're birds of a feather, the two of them.
Yeah. But that's volume 1. What final thoughts after reading the first volume did you have? Yes, Cody.
Real quick, there is a show called Twin Peaks.
Uh-huh.
Twin Peaks.
I guess spoilers for season 3 of that if you're gonna get mad at me. But weirdly enough, frogs are also a thing that infect people.
Yeah, I think it's very,
And I've seen a lot of frog, like we see frogs in Chainsaw Man. There's frogs in Dark Souls. I'm like, so like frogs in the Bible. Shout out the Bible.
Shout out to
shout out.
Bible.
Doesn't need any more shout outs, but shout out.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, okay, so frogs are like connected to the supernatural world in a way that I don't get.
Probably because of the Bible.
You think, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming. Yeah.
Princess and the Frog?
Yeah. It's fairy tales. Yeah. Yeah.
Or people just thought frogs were cool back then.
Or mystical,
Mystical.
magical.
Ribbit. Oh.
Sure, Cody. But what did you guys think of it? Like, what are your final thoughts of this series? We're kind of flip flopping on this protagonist. We're not really rooting for him. We don't know if we're supposed to even root for him. There's some unclear sort of, intentions or maybe there's some unclear messages. But overall, like, how did you guys feel about this volume?
I thought the story was riveting.
Loved it,
Very
Megan.
riveting.
Fantastic.
And honestly, the first volume was unforgettable. Unforgettable.
Okay.
You paused as if we were supposed to react to that one.
Unforgettable.
Yeah.
I definitely. He's like shocked that I brought that out.
Well, you dropped it so casually. The timing was
Yeah.
perfect.
Had to do it
It was
to him.
great. Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to seeing how you're going to close this one off.
Oh
Yeah.
no, those are the two that I wrote down.
I
Not a
mean-
lot of frog puns.
Well, I mean, you could have left it at ribbiting, and I would have been like, she won the episode.
Yeah, there you go.
But I thought it was also riveting as well. I had fun. I did feel like it was similar to Gantz and Parasite, and it was, it did feel familiar in that way, but it was also completely unique. I loved Doku-chan. I loved the power and getting to see it sort of change and transform. I did like that this wasn't a traditional protagonist, that he was sort of morally gray, if not even gray, like more towards the dark side. And I'm very curious to see where it goes. What did you think, my friend?
Were your only thoughts that the riveting pun? Or
I mean, I'm sure she has
were
more.
were you like
No. That's all I have, guys. I'm burnt out.
I mean, that was great.
I did enjoy it. We got a lot of people recommending it to us, and then when I saw the cover, I was like, we have to review this because it's the same author as Blue Lock, and Blue Lock was it's a for people that don't like it, it's a great story. I mean, it's like so original, which this is too.
I thought it was good.
And
A lot of people thought I didn't like it, but I liked it a lot.
Like
Yeah,
what?
Blue Lock. There were a few people that were like,
It is wild that people just ignore what you say.
Yeah.
People
It
are like,
happens a
actually,
lot.
Josh, this, and I'll be like, he said that.
yeah, I really liked it.
And people are like, Josh, maybe you could like. I'm like, I was like,
And I like how there was some like type of mystery in the beginning where you're just like, okay, what's this guy doing? How is it going to get from point A to point B? And then they pretty much lay it all out, which I liked. You don't really have to like need any more information. I mean, you do in the other characters, but it's like, okay, you're going to do this. You're going to help me out. You're infected. You get to eat this. I eat these. Like it was very just all laid out on the table. And it's a good basis for the first volume to like pretty much tell you what's going to happen in Jagaan.
And it was a very good first volume too.
Yes.
Like Cody said, the first chapter was great. And then the ending of the first volume was great. But Cody, what did you think about it? Because you seem like you're a little on the fence.
I was unclear on what the writing was, but again, I guess I just don't understand this author. Like me and him just don't click, like me and every other author, like Fujimoto do or whatever. Like I'm sure if we met in
every
person,
other author,
we'd be
would an
friends.
author.
Yeah, you named one.
Yeah.
Go ahead, continue.
No, I am like, God damn, maybe I'm just too negative. But I like, it's like I thought like, okay, structure wise, first chapter, great hook to end it on the volume. I'm like unclear on these things. The owl character was great. This does seem like a pretty fun thing. Like you can be like, oh, that's a creative way of depicting that. That's a fun way to like see that done. It just didn't really connect with me.
Not something that you would probably continue.
Yeah, if there was an anime, I would probably be like, yeah, I'll check it out. Because I just don't. It didn't hit me enough for me to like want to continue reading it.
Yeah.
Again, I think that's mostly because I'm just like confused as to like really what direction the writing.
I mean, not
was
even for
going.
the coworker. You won't keep reading for
Yeah,
the
dude,
coworker.
that's the
Maybe I'll
cowgirl.
be checking out the anime.
Ew, why do you sound like
She's the
Miss
cowgirl
Smithers?
of this series for sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
sort of
Oh,
the
yeah.
reverse cowgirl.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's a volume 1 punch.
And that's
up.
a yes sir, and that's a punch up, and
Yes,
that's the
sir.
circle, and that's the yes.
You could say I'll be looking forward to the anime.
No, you sound like the comic book guy from
Yeah,
The
he
Simpsons.
does,
he
Yeah,
does.
that's what I was thinking of. Not Smithers.
Yeah,
Ooh.
but full disclosure, I'll check out the anime for that scene.
Of course you will.
And
They might cut it out.
is someone else here gonna? Oh my god, I'm gonna be
I'm
like
raising hell.
censorship
Yeah.
and ruining artistic integrity.
Yeah.
Jagaan?
Yeah.
More like jag off
More like Jagaan. I'm gone.
Jagaan.
Yeah.
or shaman, and it's Michael Jackson.
I did like it. It was very silly, but I liked it a lot, dude.
That was really good, actually, Cody.
Well, to be clear, I did really like this series. I would like to continue this series. We're currently in the middle of doing our Berserk Conviction Arc volume done. But as with any series that we review, let us know if you want us to continue reading and talking about this. There are some other contenders, so you're going to have to be loud because you got some competition. But that's going to do it for our Volume 1 review of Jagaan. If you've already read this series, let us know what you thought about it. If you've decided to read it because we were either going to talk about it or because of our recommendation, let us know what you thought some of the meanings were, the symbolism was. You can do that by jumping into our Discord or commenting in the comments down below. And speaking of comments, we got to get to our famous segment, the Oners Circle, where Volume 1 Sean, she goes through, man. She really goes through the comments.
The analyticals.
She goes through the numbers, she crunches them, and she finds comments that you've left on previous videos. She picks a few, she reads them to us, and we respond to them. And if you want her to read one of your comments, all you got to do is leave a comment on this video or even any of our previous videos. And also, you can just comment something you want her to say.
It's very true.
Yeah.
That's 2 true, actually.
It's 3 true. Yeah.
3 true.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, speaking of
1
that,
truth.
sure, yeah.
3.
Speaking of that, Volume 1, John, can you start us off with the first comment, please?
This one comes from Mike Tonelli. I like that you researched it and wanted to add context to the story. Feel free to keep doing that where it applies in the future. Golden Kamuy is a fantastic book and one of the few I eagerly look forward to when a new volume comes out.
Well, Cody, I hope you're eating your words right
Again,
now,
I
dude.
didn't
It's
say
interesting,
I was
though.
against it. I said it just shouldn't be like front loaded in the beginning.
And that's
I-
coming from our Golden Kamui episode, by the way. And Cody had a little beef with me front loading the episode with Ainu culture. But go ahead, Megan.
Yeah, we got a couple comments about
We got
how
a
Josh
lot?
loved Josh's history corner.
Well,
we
I-
also got a couple comments about a Goblin Slayer volume done. So we
Okay,
want to
well, that's
bring
Let's
up.
tally 'em
completely
up.
different.
We could. And
I
you're
knew,
not
but,
gonna-
but the difference is I never said anybody didn't want it. But you said
You did say
I
people
think
don't
you
want
did. I
Goblin
think
Slayer.
you did. I think we just said it in our heads and
as
then
a
we manifested
joke.
it. I was joking.
I was joking. Get off my back, dude.
Dad.
Well, how about this? To kind of really settle it,
Get off
thank
my
you
back.
for enjoying it. That was my intention. That was why I did the research that I did, because I thought it was very important information and I wanted to share it with you. But to really squash this and settle this, leave a comment on this video letting us know if you liked it in the beginning or if you would have rather had it at the end. And then Cody will really be eating his words. And if you're Cody Gang and you feel weird about going against him,
How about this? Just to spite Josh.
No.
Say you don't
Oh,
want to.
now
do
you
it.
got him, Josh.
And then
now
maybe
you got him.
maybe I'll start encourage. Maybe when remember when we said we I could like try to pressure them to doing those mangas you guys wanted. Maybe if you tell Josh he's a dumb asshole.
no,
Whoa.
don't do
I'll
that.
push.
dude.
Maybe
Okay,
that'll
well,
happen.
maybe. How about this? Maybe if you just tell me the truth and share the truth with all of us, then maybe the truth will be its own reward.
Hmm. Yeah.
Why, Monchan, can you read us the next comment, please?
You're right.
This one comes from Ascended Stoic. Recette actually is French, and it means recipe.
Ah,
Yeah.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Makes a lot of sense. And I said in the episode that I was pretty sure it was French.
You did.
Yeah. But I was saying a lot of stuff in that episode. I had a lot of false confidence in that episode, but I turned out to be
But it
right.
made it all the sweeter.
Aw.
Sure. That was from, of course, the Candy Flurry episode.
Our famous.
Our
Famous Candy
famous, our most viewed episode.
That's doing better, actually, in hindsight. Then.
I believe in that series.
Which I'm crunching the numbers, dude, and look,
Candy
it's-
crunching.
sure, crushing the numbers, whatever.
And
And
it would have worked better if he's a crush.
Cody's really rooting for the series, and
There's some other people that are too.
there's some other people that are too.
It's doing better than series we thought were gonna do better than it.
I don't think it's doing that much better than some of those series.
I you can see the number. It's like it's for how new it is and how people are saying it's at risk of cancellation and how it's going towards an audience that normally is like lesser in the manga community. I think it's doing pretty good. If it gets canceled, you can go ahead and laugh in my face.
But that's the thing.
and
Dude.
I'll
You think
take it.
You think I want it to fail? You
Yeah.
think I?
Not for the channel, but for me.
Okay, well, it is a double-edged sword. Okay, and I'm in a bit of a pickle, but at the same time, like, I want you to have it, Anyway, we're going to brush right on past that. Volume 1, can you hit us with our final comment, please?
This one comes from Mads. Watching this after the anime had came out is sad. LMAO.
It's Record of
That was-
Ragnarok.
Oh, Record of Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
that-
have yet to see the first episode.
We were so excited about that.
Yeah,
and
we
it's like,
really
dude,
were.
the anime is just about to come, and then just all the hype died immediately. Like the
Yeah.
trailer was amazing.
Oh, trailer was awesome.
And
Yeah.
then I just heard nothing but bad things. And it is wild remembering how enthusiastic I was about that.
I was
series.
very
know.
enthusiastic, and it's one of those things where the hype was so intense that I couldn't wait to see it. And the moment, then it became like the dislike of it was so intense that I didn't even look at it. I didn't.
I haven't looked into it. I haven't watched the anime at all. But
And
we were like, dude, let's watch each fight and let's take
Yeah.
bets, and then
Such
it
a
just like
shame.
died immediately.
It is a shame because of how
Sort of like
many
the
people.
world ending.
Oh yeah, well, something like that.
Something vaguely along those
yeah.
lines.
But it's
Like a
crazy because,
Ragnarok or-
and it is a shame because
like an
so many
apocalyptic
people
event.
were excited
Sort of
about
relevant
it.
to the events and type.
I mean, we all got
I'm
it.
not gonna.
Megan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
good.
you know,
Thank you.
If you're out there and you're thinking to yourself, you guys still got to watch it, then let us know, because I've only been hearing bad things about the anime. So if there's anybody out there that's like, no, it's pretty good, I might take your word for it and check it out, because I do need something to get me to watch it, because right now in my mind it's just not worth it from what I've heard. But it doesn't make the manga any less good. The manga was really, really good.
And I just want to give a shout out to one of our very own Discord members, Pamurai Inery, for graduating high school, class of 2021.
Hells yeah. It's not all the time that, you know, someone reaches out to us that is a part of our community and just shares very nice things with us. But, you know, this person did. They reached out to us in our Discord, shared some very nice things, and they are celebrating their high school graduation. And we all just want to say to everybody that's ever said anything kind, we do get a lot of messages from you guys that are just like very sweet and very kind. And they're sometimes like hard to respond to, because I want to give them the same attention and I want to give them the same response, because I just feel like they're so meaningful. And
there have been times where I'm like, Megan, can you respond to them? Because if I send them a message, it's gonna look sarcastic, and I don't know how to communicate outside of that. So I need someone who can do hearts and be like, thank you. And
Hearts. It's not that hard to hit an emoji, Cody.
it's pretty hard. I don't do emojis.
Yeah, but I start getting in my head, dude. I'm like, an emoji's gonna make it feel more disingenuous. I mean,
Yeah.
I overthink everything, but I just really want to say that it does. Everybody who reaches out and all the super powerful, meaningful things that you guys have said, like, it means the world to us. And we really want to congratulate our Discord member for his graduation. Congratulations one more time, dude.
Yeah, Megan, do you have any?
It's just so like touching. Like, it's just so insane. Like, everyone's just so nice. And when you share these moments with us, it's not just like, oh, cool. Like, no, like, we're like, holy shit. Like, what? Like, I just, like, literally, I didn't even, like, we sat down and they're like, oh, do you see that member? And I was like, no. And then I started reading and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah,
what
she
the heck?
just know she legitimately cried.
Oh my God. It's
Yeah.
so heartwarming and like wrenching and like, it's just, it's everything. It's so nice. And I'm so glad you shared that moment with us, and congrats again for graduating, because that's awesome. And you did it.
Yeah, sharing that moment is a great way to say it, because it is a, you know, it's a milestone. I mean, look, I didn't graduate high school, so congratulations for doing it, because it's something I did not do. I don't want to say couldn't do, but I just didn't do.
Yeah, and Megan will graduate as soon as she gets there. You're like in 8th grade now, or
Oh my God.
I was.
Oh
asked,
my God. Okay, I'll take freshman in high school. Sure, any day of the week,
okay.
but not an 8th grader.
Well, I thought it'd be fun too, to Cody, if you want to give him some life advice as he embarks on his sort of, you know, adulthood journey.
Well, maybe
Life lessons with
Cody-san.
Yes.
Um,
Oh
I'm
my
scared.
gosh.
I'll let
Shouldn't
you.
do that
Oh,
power.
here's what I did after I graduated high school, which not a fan of personally, but I set my alarm clock to when I had to wake up to go to school. And I had it set like that for like 2 years, just so I could remember, so I could wake up and I could turn my alarm off and go back to sleep.
Wow, I love that feeling. That's one of
Yeah.
the best feelings in the world.
Which from now on, when you wake up, will be determined by you or whatever prison you have put yourself in.
I was looking for something a little more inspirational.
It is inspirational because your life is your own. Everyone knows that. Mob Psycho. Watch
There
Mob
we
Psycho is
go.
my message to you.
Wow.
And he probably already has, and if he hasn't, I'm sure he will.
Absolutely should watch that. And yeah, just set your alarm clock to when you used to have to wake up and just be like, not today.
Relish it.
And never again unless you want it to.
And the important thing to take away from all that is that your life is your own, and we love you very much.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And speaking of love, we have to shout out our wonderful, beautiful, I'm really, I just don't want to repeat words.
so many things.
Yeah, so many things.
So many
How
things.
about we incorporate things that happened in the manga, like finger explosion.
licking good.
Finger licking good.
Finger licking good, you guys.
Yeah.
You guys are finger licking good.
Our Patreon members.
Yes.
Thank you, every single one of you guys. Your support means the world to us. Yeah, that's another thing that we're consistently blown away by, that you are willing to support us the way you have chosen to support us. It means a lot. We appreciate every single one of you. And shout out to everybody who watches and listens, no matter how you show your support, whether it's by just watching.
Algorithm gang.
The algorithm gang. Shout out Hassan for really leading that charge. And, everybody for just like watching, listening, commenting, subscribing, all that stuff. Like, it really helps, and it does mean a lot. But having said all that, that has been our review of Volume 1 of Jagaan. The only thing left to do now is to get out of here on our outro that is always the same and never changes, which we already have one. But let's see if Megan has a couple she wants to pitch that we can vote on to see which one is the winner, the ultimate outro.
Shoo bow bow.
I already like Cody's. I already like Cody's more.
You think
because
okay, you can you're not really enunciating. Yeah, there you have to enunciate the J more.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, because it's also like a song,
and it's Day Bow Bow.
Yeah,
It's Day Bow Bow.
It's Day Bow Bow.
Oh, I thought it was Shoo Bow. Day Bow.
Do you have another one? You have a whole notebook full of them, right?
No, that's the best one I could come up with.
You got another one?
I only had the frog puns, you guys.
The frog pun, Megan.
You had like 2.
I had unforgettable, and the story is riveting.
I just really want to say, like,
I'm back on board.
Yeah,
again.
on record again, how fucking amazing riveting was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was solid.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I think we know this manga was a hoot.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
So yes, as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And until next time,
This manga was a hoot.
I knew she was gonna
Chicka chicka. Chicka chicka.
Chicken Jagaan?
Chicka chicka. Yeah.
Do you like a album?
Chicka chicka.
It was a good animal.